Hi there, good morning. So this is my last morning here in Lima in Peru. And as you might know, I am a massive fan of exploring cultures and peoples. And there's some interesting observations I've made in the last few weeks that I've been in Peru, and particularly in Lima here for the last 5 days. So number one interesting observation is they are all over the country in love with 80s music. So everywhere you go, every taxi, every restaurant, walking on the street, you have 80s. I've heard 80s songs I haven't heard in years. And this is a wonderful thing because I am an 80s girl. So, oh my God, having the 80s, like, wow, everywhere you go. And apparently one of the walking guides that I went to and saw, they actually said to me that lots of young people, they all line up, all the clubs are filled with 80s music. And then he said, and the young people like ABBA. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to correct him to say that that's actually 70s and not 80s. So I didn't want to let on that I knew. Anyway, so yes, number one, 80s music. Number two is vultures. I have seen so many vultures in the few locations that I've been to in Mexico. Like, they're everywhere. And the vultures are amazing creatures. They clean up all the dead. They do such a great service to the community, and they're such strong, beautiful birds. And apparently they had a bit of an execution here in Barranco because with the sounds one night they all flew into trees and died, and so there's a memorial. So someone made a beautiful sculpture to commemorate the vultures who had died in Barranco, which is really lovely, and I'll show you a photo of them too. But they're all still living there now again. Yes, so very precious creatures. And the third thing about Peru that I've noticed is chifa. Chifa is everywhere. There's almost a chifa restaurant. They're almost as popular as Oxos or 7-Elevens, as you would know, like the 24/7 convenience stores. So chifa is actually a combination of Chinese Peruvian origins. So what's really interesting is that in 1837 to 1840, a whole heap of Chinese workers were brought over from China to work on the railroads. And after the work finished, they're like, what are we going to do? Of course, they're going to cook, bringing their amazing cooking to the world, obviously. So they started cooking, and chifa is, one of my guides told me, means like to eat rice, like eat rice. But they combine, and when they go to Chinese restaurants, they actually combine the Peruvian words with Chinese words like chow fa, chi fa, and which is just absolutely fascinating. So it's become so a part of Peruvian culture that when I ask people, including like the cleaners at hotels and things like that, I say, what's your favorite food? And it's chifa, which is I think one of the original kind of fusion foods, if you like. It's really interesting. So they mix lomo salteado and all sorts of things, so they combine some of these beautiful natural, like indigenous Peruvian flavors as well as the Chinese flavors. So it's really amazing. It's also really amazing to see so many Chinese restaurants and like stalls, and then I saw one chifa Vietnam, so which is beautiful too. I'll show you this view. It's amazing. So we have 80s music, vultures and chifa. My three top observations. And then also how much they use sweet potato, like even in their donuts, and yams. Delicious yams. Yams are amazing fried, with salt, of course. So they use yams and sweet potatoes a lot in their cuisine, which is amazing. And you see that in desserts, you see it in savory, you see it in everything. So so those are my perhaps unusual top 3 observations. of being here in Peru, and I've absolutely loved it. It's been amazing, and and Lima is definitely a sight to see, as well as the rest of the incredible country that is Peru. So diverse and so amazing.